previously on the Elevate With Us podcast. So I'm so honored and excited to welcome our guest today, Cynthia Stant.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanya. I really appreciate it. I'm honored. I knew I was getting all of these results because of meditation, because of what I was learning from metaphysics. That's when I realized, okay, no more of this happening to me bullshit. Like, it's for me, by me.
Explain to everybody what that means and how they can tune into it, or ways they can kind of sharpen that skill.
So metaphysics literally means like more than physics, like more than science can explain. But if we all go back to it, we can remember being in high school, whether you're paying attention or not. You can remember at one point in science class, I don't remember what kind of science, but like literally, physics, they're sitting there telling you about atoms, right? And you know that everything is in constant motion.
Yep.
And that nothing's actually really solid, even though we perceive that way, but everything is constantly moving.
Correct.
Everybody's familiar with the law of attraction. Law of attraction is like attracts like. What you put out there is what you get back.
Yep.
Your thoughts
become things.
Yeah, exactly. And so the law of attraction is just a subset law of the law of vibration. Well, here's the thing. The law of vibration is just one of the universal laws. So our universe has explanation behind everything. So if you are aware of the laws, you can start having them work for you. And if you don't know the laws, I guarantee they're working against you.
Absolutely.
So like gravity, for instance, like what goes up must come down. It does not matter if you are black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, right? It doesn't matter if you're in Australia, if you are Brad Pitt, or if you're a homeless person. Like if you throw something up, it's going to come down.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're at. It's consistent. That's what makes it a law. And so whether you're somebody who is religious, per se, like if you like to think about things as God, I always say, we can say God loves unconditionally.
Sure.
Right? Absolutely. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done. You can murder somebody and God will love you, right?
Yes.
Like God will forgive you. So God loves unconditionally. But the universe, if you want to get more scientific with it, as far as laws, they, like I said, they are neutral. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. So if you want to see through the eyes of God, or if you want to see through the ways of the universe, you need to learn how to be neutral.
Okay.
You learn these laws, and when you see them, you don't react to them. You just realize, that's how that's working. So there's so many different laws, and like one of the ones that I love the most is the law of gender.
Okay. I'm not familiar with this, so this is exciting.
Every single item, every single person, every single thing in this physical reality has both masculine and feminine traits.
Okay.
I don't mean male and female, but like masculine and feminine, hence my brand, inner feminine beast. You can think of it like this, like even like your pen that's over there. That's more of like a masculine trait, because we'll like literally look at the shape of it.
Sure.
Right? It's a shaft.
I understand.
And it asserts itself onto the paper.
Oh,
the paper is more feminine. It receives the writing.
Receives it. Sure.
Like everything around you, like a bottle. So the water itself is actually more masculine because it like fills the cup, but this is circular, if you notice, and it receives, like cups receive. Yeah, like so everything is masculine and feminine.
Okay.
So your job isn't to be like, I need to turn on my masculine, I need to be in my feminine. Like you said, we said, like hinted earlier, it's not about balance. I'm not like, I need to be 50% of my masculine, 50%, I need to be in my boss mode right now. When you just be and you just are and you surrender to that, like you show up exactly the way you're supposed to, and that's when magic and miracles happen. So understanding like all the different concepts, and it's years and years and years of practice, but like once you understand it, this is how you manifest stuff. Like, say it's crazy, but
if someone wants to learn more, let's just say someone's trying to work the law of attraction, they're trying to manifest, it's not going the way they want it to, it's probably because they haven't surrendered enough. Through meditation, you would advise, or is there a book they can read, or is there a podcast they could listen to? Like, where would they go to kind of understand it more?
Yeah.
To kind of grasp it?
So first things first, absolutely. If you take one thing away from this podcast today, one thing only, and I guarantee everyone's gonna be like, holy shit, I had no idea. Stop saying the word try. Like when you become my client, the very first thing I make you do is stop saying try. It is literally the most sabotaging thing that you can do, because you have to realize when you are looking at the physical, we just said it's not even real. Like it's all movement. Right?
Yes.
It's the last phase of manifestation. Things have to come through a spiritual realm, a mental realm, and then they come to the physical.
Okay.
So the physical isn't actually who you are, it's who you were. all of your past thoughts, feelings, and actions got you here right now.
Exactly.
But like right now, you're going to determine what's happening next. So when you try, you're announcing it's not here yet.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So if you're trying, it's like it will be. And anything that you say will be, always will be, that just will be.
Will be.
Right. So I always say own it, claim it. That's what that means. Like from Inner Femme and Beast, in my mind, it's already done. So you act and feel like the end result. So don't try. So watch today. You're going to catch yourself saying try like 10 times. You're like, oh shit, I had no idea. That's the number one reason why you're not manifesting.
Wow.
You're saying that's going to happen someday. So if you say it is, and so it is.
So because there's a lot of realtors listening, so you're not going to say like, I'm going to try to have 50 sales.
It's literally like Master Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try.
Right.
Right?
So they instead should say, I have.
No, I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I
I
am.
am. So change it from I try to I am.
It's done.
It's done. It already happened.
Yeah, I expect it. I'm being intentional. I'm the cause that creates the effect. I go first and everything responds. Like I'm calling it. It's done. It's done.
That's amazing.
So.
That's absolutely
so
amazing.
That was the first thing. But if I was to recommend some books, if you're like brand spanking new, I think almost all of us started with The Secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rhonda Byrne, really cool. She
so good.
Power
so
of collaboration. I call that the Spice Girl effect. We're just better together.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
you. No, she's so good, and I love that you can listen to it on Audible.
Yeah,
and
I think
then-
it started as a movie and then turned to a book, but I read the
Yeah.
book first.
Yep, and
So that's very
the
like
movie's good too.
explaining very elementary, like introductory law of attraction, which again is just one subset of the bigger law. But
Sure.
good place to start, and you can start proving yourself this shit's not like made up. You're like, oh my god, that's
It's
crazy.
amazing, and if you know, I had an agent who was struggling with a lot of things in her life, a lot of noise, and I said, hey, we've talked about this before, but and she was homesick, like really with the flu, and I was like, listen, girl, you've nothing going on. You are going to find on YouTube The Secret, and you're going to watch it, and then you're going to call me back because it's short. And she was like, huh? I'm like, don't ask any questions. Just do it. I promise you it's short, and you will not be disappointed. And she watched it, and she's like, okay, Tanya.
Yeah, at first people are like, this is
They're
stupid,
like, okay. And I said, I need you to implement it.
But here's the thing, look. Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah.
And so she's a bowler. Her and her family
cool.
bowls. And she decided that day to say that she was going to bowl whatever many strikes and, you know, talked about it in the present tense that it was happening or it happened. And she texted me later and she goes, I just bowled the best game of my life ever. And now I believe. And I'm like, I told you, your thoughts become things. And once you embrace that and don't make yourself a victim, I think that in sales, it's really easy to feel like a victim because you pour so much energy, and like in real estate, you get paid at the end, right? So you could show property, you could, you know, do the consultations, you could bring them offers or write offers, and none of it goes through. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm not going to buy. And you're like, how could this happen to me?
Yeah, to me.
Victims, you cannot.
Damsel in distress. To me.
Right, exactly. And that's the wrong way. And that's just a really hard thing for people to move from. Away from, because I think they're trained to do it as a child.
Right.
That
well,
victim mentality.
We're honestly like, I can get a conspiracy theory, but like,
do it.
Well, no, but I mean, like, of course, like, why, like, people don't want us to know that power.
Of course not.
Like,
No,
they can't control us then. We're all domesticated little pets out here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, you got to own it. You got to claim it. And think about it. If you keep pointing, saying it's happening to me, and you're not getting a different result, no shit. That's literally the definition of insanity.
It is.
Right? Yeah. So, like, if you think this is woo and nuts, well, what else you got? Like,
we're right.
What do you have to
what
fucking
you're doing
lose?
now ain't working.
Yeah,
so can you
just
try
give it
this?
a go.
Yeah.
And like, don't try it, do it, right?
Just do it. Yeah,
see,
just
like,
do it.
Yeah. And so I just did it, and it, boom, boom, boom. Just test with the little things. Don't like go for $1 million on day one. You're not gonna. You could
go for the parking spot.
The reason you're not
Parking
is because you don't
spot
have
is so
you don't
cool.
have an expectation that it's done, right? Like eventually, when you prove all the little things, you're like, okay, this is working. I'm going for the bigger things, and boom, this is literally how I have my life. Like, you know, so. Then after doing The Secret, Secret is what helped me to find my husband, 100%.
Did you like do the all things?
I did all the things.
You like parked on one side of the thing.
Yeah,
and cleared that side of the bed.
I came home every night. This is so embarrassing, but whatever.
No, I want to know.
I came home every night, and like I'm a server, right? So like I get home at like 12 o'clock, and then I like scarf down food, and then I go to the bar, right? So like I remember just like constantly eating like to-go food by myself on the couch, and then I was like, but if I was in a loving relationship, like wouldn't there be 2 plates? I always eat half my meal and the half is for lunch tomorrow. So I was like, I just started putting it on 2 plates, and like I created space.
Sure.
So I'm gonna actually, what's the word? Challenge The Secret.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I like it.
In The Secret, they say ask, believe, receive. You
Yes.
ask, you believe, and that's how you receive it.
Correct.
I think there's some error in that.
Okay.
So I always say, ask no. Because you believe a lot of things that are just bullshit stories that you tell yourself. There's a lot of beliefs that you have that aren't
There's a lot
real.
more power in that.
You own it. You claim it. That's what it means to know. So ask, know, own and claim that it's coming. Make room. Make room to receive. So if you want the love of your life and you're a female and your house is all pink and fluffy, like, I'm sorry, like, that doesn't look like a house that a man would live in.
Sure.
If you're have two end tables on the side of your queen bed and you have both the end tables filled, like, if he lived here, like, he would have make the space.
Sure, make the space.
I always wanted a Maserati, but I lived in an apartment. There's no fucking way I'm going to park a Maserati in an apartment parking spot, right?
No.
So the second I got a house, I'm like, I'm getting a garage. Why? Because I'm going to park a Maserati in there. Like, and then boom, like, it all just fell into place. Like, you have to make room. Like, you have to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. You have to be the end result now.
You have to be open to receive. And I think that's a really, really hard space to be in because you can't see it or feel it. You just have to believe. That's faith. You just have to believe in it. And I think that that's where people go wrong in it. They think, oh, well, if I ask, it's going to happen. I asked. I manifested. I asked. I said. I spoke about it like it already happened and nothing did. But they didn't open. They didn't have the place.
I feel like we're
the space.
Way over an hour, but like I have like this.
It doesn't matter. We're good. We're all good.
All right, this is like this teaching. This is what I say. So, and then I want to tell you about the books, of course. But
yes.
All right. So let's say that when I'm from Philly area, my number one station I would listen to in the car. You get in the car, and if anybody still listens to FM, which I don't think they do, but if you did, right, you would turn on your radio, and all of a sudden, magically, you hear these voices in your car. Like, well, how's that happening? Through radio waves. You know, those things that you cannot see.
Yes.
Just because you cannot see does not mean it's not there.
Correct.
All right. If we could see all of the radio waves, microwaves, gamma waves, like we'd be sitting here talking like that.
That'd be nuts.
Like, I'd be like, I don't want to see this, right?
Right.
But, okay. So the thing is, you're hearing somebody's voice travel on these radio waves. They come into your car and you're listening. And I used to listen on the way to work back when I went to the office. Every single day, I would listen to the Elvis Duran show.
I know Elvis Duran because I grew up in a suburb of New York City.
Okay, yeah.
So and he filmed in Empire State Building.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I just remember like falling in love with the people. Like I would laugh the entire way
they were
to work.
So great.
I would like pee my pants. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get to this. Is so funny. Like, and when somebody was sick, I'm like, oh my God, are they like okay? Like, you know,
sure.
like, I was like, I loved my people.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, they're always playing my jam. That's my music. That's my song. Even the commercials. I fucking love the commercials. I'm like, please tell me this. How do they know that's what I would be sold? I'm like, yes, I'll buy that. I'll buy. Like on this station, when you are tuned in and tapped into that frequency of that radio wave, you receive everything that you like.
Correct.
Including the fucking commercials. Now, if my husband got in the car, because we always blame it on our husbands, that's the easy thing to do.
Sure.
Let's say he got in my car and he decided to put on the country music. Now, I love country music, and that's why I can make fun of it, right?
Sure.
But so what if all of a sudden now you're like, what the hell? You get in your car and you hear dum 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 dum, and like another song about bourbon and a pickup truck and a dog dying, right?
Sure.
You're like, oh,
your tractor.
No. This is not my jam, right?
That's not what I want.
And they're like, they're making jokes about tractors and Budweiser, and you're like, I don't like these. Like, I don't understand their jokes. I don't.
Yeah.
And then like the commercial comes on, it's like, this weekend's the rodeo, and you're like, I don't fucking care about that, right? Like, you're like, I don't like anything on this station. Here's the thing: you're tuned and tapped into this frequency. Does that mean that the other radio station doesn't exist?
No.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
But you're residing on the wrong frequency.
Right.
That thing you cannot see.
That's why it's not jamming. I like to say it's not filling your bucket. It's something I learned with my kids.
All right, cool, yeah.
Just your bucket isn't filled.
So I always say, who are you? Who do you want to be?
Who are you? Who do you want to be?
What's the difference? Most importantly, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Right, and how are you going to get there?
So what do you have to do? You got to change the frequency. You literally have to reach out physically. You can't do it with the brain, right? It's not just mindset. You have to like move your hand and adjust and tune in the frequency.
Unless you are Yoda and you could move it, but we can't, unfortunately.
I'm almost there.
I'm sure you are.
So then what happens is you will, you'll go to, back then it was 102.1. That's your station where you love everything. You're manifesting all the things. Life's great. What happens though if you go to 102.3?
You're out of tune.
It's going sound like
right.
Yeah. So you can't just say, oh, I did it. You have to tune in consistently, lock in You're gonna dabble, especially when it's new. You're gonna like go back and forth. You're gonna sway. You're going to have this period of absolute combobulation, like, and you're gonna wobble.
Well, and it's not always going to be perfect.
No.
I mean, your story is testament to that. Like,
oh yeah,
you weren't like this. You were like ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
But you always showed up, and sometimes you made a mistake, and you went through it. It wasn't easy. It was hard. And I always tell the agents that you learn the most from your failures.
Oh, absolutely.
You like
you hate them when they're happening, but when
Sure.
like years later, you're like, that's the best thing that happened to me.
But when it's easy, it isn't, you don't remember it as much. But the failure, you're like, because it makes you reflect, because you don't want to make the same mistake again.
Yeah, failure is your biggest teacher. The thing is,
every day.
if you're not failing, it's because you're staying stuck. And I can tell you right now, the most dangerous thing you can do is not move. And
totally agree
moving
with
is
you.
always scary for sure, because it's the unknown. That's the only reason. I decided, this is like the biggest thing that I did for myself is, I stopped. I'm the CEO of my life. I call the shots. I label everything. So I can label things against me or I can label things for me. But really nothing is good. Nothing is bad. It just is. I give it power.
I love that.
I give it
Nothing is
power.
good. Nothing is bad. It just is.
Think about this. This is my example I always do. If you... Okay, you play around with me, okay? This is very simple.
I'm ready.
There's
I'm
no
ready.
right, there's no wrong.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to say a word. In fact, it's going to be 2 words, but
Okay.
just say the first thing that comes to your mind. And if you're listening, like, play along with me.
Okay.
Don't think about wait till what Tanya said. Like, just say the first thing that comes to you. Okay, ready?
Okay.
First thing that comes to you, black cat.
Black cat. There's a feral cat in my neighborhood.
Okay, feral cat. Feral. Sure. You do this, and I love to do this in front of like 100 people.
We call him Binks.
Exactly. Why do you call him Binks?
My neighbor named him Binks. I don't know why.
Oh, you don't know why? Because Hocus Pocus is my favorite movie.
Oh, I had no idea why. We call him
Thackeray
Binks. Oh, I'm
Thackeray
sorry.
Binks.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah,
Binks.
but she calls it Binks because the black cat from the witches movie. Like, so people will be like, witches, Halloween.
Sure.
They'll say bad luck, superstition,
Oh.
right? But then all of a sudden, you'll get half the room. They'll be like, cute, cuddly companion.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, my
Binks.
little Binks, right?
These
Like, you're
are
like,
little-
hold on, you just said witches and superstitious and evil, and
Right,
you just
and
said
you-
cute, cuddly companion.
Sure.
A cat is just a fucking cat.
Right.
The way that you choose to label it is what defines it in your reality. You give it
That's
power.
so powerful.
Sales is just sales. Sales
Right.
is not spammy, scammy, sleazy. I think it's spiritual, sexy, and serving, right? And then the same thing is like, if you are going to try or word that. Well, what I was saying was the labeling. What was I just saying a second ago? Before
We're
that?
talking about the black cat and the sales are sexy.
Yeah, I
and
know. But
serving.
before that made me say that. Sorry, I got distracted with that.
I don't know. We're talking about words. Is
Charging your words.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that like everything is. It isn't. You're not labeling it good or bad.
Oh, fear. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay.
You're fine.
It's live.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the printer went off. I was like, okay. So anyway, I decided for me, fear, it's not scary. It's the feeling of growth.
I totally agree with you, and I think that that's what defines people, or that's what makes people good from great, or is that they're not afraid of those things. Like it's okay. Like it's okay to be scared. I am going to guarantee that multiple times during this amazing path you've had, you have had so much fear.
Oh my
but
God.
you did not let it define you. It did not paralyze you. You didn't use it as a reason to procrastinate from doing what you were doing. You used it as power.
People come to me all the times, Cynthia, when I'm as confident as you are, then I will do the thing. You have to do the thing, and that's how you become confident.
Absolutely.
And so I still
I'm sure you still get nervous.
in January, I'm speaking on one of the biggest stages ever. I can't believe this with Shailene Johnson, right? I have under 1,900
Wow.
followers on Instagram as I'm recording this, right? Like,
Wow.
But because of the connections and serving and hosting my own events and going first, nobody would have me be on their stage, so I made my own stage
Good for you.
and I invited them, But I decided okay, when you are feeling scared, what do you feel? You feel like your tummy's I get all red and blotchy and I'm sweating. That's how I feel when I'm really excited too.
Sure. No, absolutely.
So am I scared or am I excited? I just decide I'm excited. And every single day, if I don't go to bed feeling like I did something scary, I feel like I wasted my life today.
I like to say that when you are nervous in a situation like that, it's because you care.
Absolutely. Because if you didn't care, you'd be like,
then
whatever.
you wouldn't be nervous. So I ride and show horses, and
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's right.
And I've been doing it for years, and I'm now an old lady at it. So there's often kids, and when they're at their first horse show, and you can see they're kind of mean to their parents because they're nervous and scared,
Yeah.
and their mom or their dad doesn't ride and doesn't understand that it's a lack of control because it's a live animal that could do whatever it wants. Like you never fucking know what they're going to do, and they could just see something in the corner of their eyes. And,
𝗣𝗏𝗏,
yeah, and your life flashes behind, before you. And I tell them, I say, listen, I love that you're scared. And they're like, what? I'm like, do you know why I love that you're scared? And they're like, and they almost cry. And I'm like, don't cry. I know it's because you're passionate, but you're scared because you care so much, and you don't want to disappoint the horse, your trainer, and your parents. So just remember that it's because you care. Like, people think fear is negative, and I totally disagree. It's not negative. It's powerful.
2 things from that. I remember I was doing this really big presentation, and I was doing my makeup, and I was putting eyelashes on, and I was shaking so much in my hand, and my husband was like looking at me like, "What the fuck is your problem, woman?" Like, what? I was like, and I stopped and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God." He said, "What?" I was like, "This is the feeling." I said, he's like, "What?" I was like, "This is the feeling that stops so many people."
Yeah,
like,
they can't get through. They're paralyzed.
This is the feeling that I'm going to walk gracefully with. It's not about being fearless. The day you're fearless, I'm afraid for you. It's about being courageous and walking gracefully with that fear. Absolutely. Like, that's a really big part of it. I do want to go back to the books really quick, though, because I think it's important. So, The Secret bought me my husband. What bought me, remember I said I wanted to live in Florida. I wanted to, was a book called Life Visioning.
Life Visioning, okay.
By Michael Bernard Beckwith.
Okay.
The quote, "Pain pushes until vision pulls," comes from that book. It's my favorite quote ever. I recently got to see him, actually, which is bonkers, and that just happened like randomly. I went to my friend's house. She's like, "Do you want to go to church?" And I was like, sure. Like, and it was his church, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Right? Like, and he did all the things. It was wonderful. Anyway, that book really helped me to understand how to next level kind of manifest, right?
Sure.
After that, I went to the College of Metaphysical Studies. Now I'm on to like my 5th spiritual mentor. Literally went to Barnes & Noble, and a book flew in like off the shelf into my hand kind of thing. Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard.
Okay. I don't know either of these 2 books.
It's okay. Neville Goddard is old school metaphysician, 1930s to 1950s.
Oh, wow.
When I read his stuff, it's all about owning, claiming it, being the end result, law of assumption. I now have all of his works. I read them every single day. Like, that is my Bible.
I love it.
That is really cool. And then since then, I've invested hundreds of thousands since then with other mentors. And what is really cool, this is bonkers for me, honestly, was something that was very scary for me to do.
Yes.
I will say this. Again, whatever you like to call it, I'll say God. God will never give you anything that you can't handle.
Absolutely.
So if you think it feels so painful, this and that, like, you're just letting the bus hit you again and again. And God's having the bus hit you so you finally move the other way.
Right.
And if you don't know, like, if you don't have the strength to move, just ask for that.
Sure.
So I've made this really big name for myself in sales. I love sales, but truly, sales is just a little part of me.
I feel like it's just one of your vehicles.
Yeah,
it's
it's like I think I let it become my identity because of the people I care that I'm serving and how they see, but I think that's also a story I was telling myself. And I made a post recently and I said, if you can learn anything from me, what would it be? And I just figured it'd be like some launch strategy or some kind of conversion thing. Like, not one person said sales. Everybody was like, we want to hear about manifestation. We want to hear about metaphysics. We want to understand disciplined spiritual practices. We want to understand different realms and how, like, you actually get what I want right now. Like, and I was like,
wow.
But that's what sales is for me.
Sure, that's what it does for you. That's so cool, though.
Right? So I was like, okay, well, since I started my spiritual coaching, that was over 3 years ago, I've had so many mentors. I've manifested this whole entire life. I've created millions of dollars. I created this brand. I'm speaking from stage. I have a top podcast. I was like,
right.
All right, a lot of new wisdom. So it was scary. I asked God, if I'm going to do this, you got to make it obvious. So obvious. It's insane how obvious. And I'm going back to it.
I know. That's what you said.
I'm going back to it. I'm offering now my manifestation coaching. Yeah. That's to anyone and everyone. I'm making it as accessible as possible now.
If someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they find you?
So I'm really focused. I'm big on Facebook. That's where I started, but I am pivoting and willing to see different. I've been really actually falling in love now with Instagram as well, but on both of them, I'm Cynthia Stant.
Cynthia Stant on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep. And so that Facebook group that I opened up 3 years ago, I renamed it because I want it to be for both men and women now, not just women. It used to be called the Spiritual Success Sorority.
Okay.
And I hate that because I love alliteration and my name is Cynthia Stant. But when you first start, I used to have a list where I would be nervous.
So
I was like, shit, yeah, the spiritual success.
Yes.
That's when people knew it was live, and I was like, oh fuck it, you guys, you know
whatever.
what I mean?
My name is whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, it's now called Manifesting Success.
Love
with
it.
Cynthia Stant. That's a Facebook group, and in there, I'm hosting complimentary masterclasses, workshops, and what's really funny and cool is that I didn't take down any of my videos. So there's hundreds of videos from over from 3 years ago. My hair was much longer. You can tell that I'm definitely in my apartment building.
Yeah.
You probably hear other people's dogs barking.
But it's so real and authentic.
It's not just the talk. Like you can see where I came from.
Absolutely.
And I changed a lot. When I first started, it was, crystals. And, I still think that's wonderful. It's just not who I am now.
Right.
I've had a lot of that business women kick in. And what I'm known for really is mixing the woo with the practical, the intuitive with the mechanical. Right. And so that's why it's feminine beast. And so it's really understanding the both mentality. That's how you, in that middle is that flow state where it all comes in.
It's super powerful. And I think that I love that you're close by, right? Because what's better than collaborating in person and being able to meet people that are walking the walk and talking the talk? It just makes you so authentic. I think I could talk to you for 44,000 hours, which means you're going to have to come back. Sorry, we're going to have you on again because I think we could do this forever.
Yeah.
I so appreciate your time today, Cynthia.
Thank you.
You're rocking and rolling. We didn't even get to talk about your the organizations you're a part of. That's for next time. And again, thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait for next time.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody for listening in. Definitely make sure you leave this woman a review, 5-star all day. And thanks for following along with me as well. Definitely reach out to me, send me a DM, join the Facebook group. Let me know that you came from Tanya. I'll make sure I give her a shout out. So
awesome.
Appreciate you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.